Have you ever heard someone say PBIS doesn't work? So in this video, I'm going to break down why PBIS might not feel effective in your school and what you can do to fix it. So why does it feel like PBIS isn't working? In my experience, it comes down to 3 reasons. Number 1, Tier 1 is being implemented inconsistently or incorrectly. Expectations aren't clear, reinforcement systems are weak or non-existent, staff respond to behavior in a reactive or punitive way instead of being proactive and supportive. Schools that implement Tier 1 well often see a 50 to 60% drop in problem behavior in just the first year. The best way to check your implementation is to take the Tiered Fidelity Inventory, the TFI, with your Tier 1 team. I'm going to link that below. Here's what I've noticed. When I help schools complete the TFI, the ones who say PBIS doesn't work are usually implementing at less than 60% fidelity. In other words, they're not fully doing PBIS, so it makes sense that they're not seeing all the benefits. Number 2, teachers and staff are not aware of Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports. Many people assume that all students should respond to Tier 1 because they haven't even been informed that Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions even exist. And the third reason is that teachers feel that PBIS means that there's no consequences for misbehavior. PBIS focuses on interventions over punishment, which could leave students and staff who are affected by misbehavior without a clear resolution. Restorative practices could fill that gap by addressing harm, helping kids be accountable, and repairing relationships. I'll link below my Restorative PBIS School Leadership Academy so you can learn how to integrate restorative practices into your PBIS. The main reason that I think PBIS is so misunderstood is that most teachers and staff haven't even really received training in it. You all know what I'm talking about. You have a small team from your school. They go away for 3 days to a workshop, and then they come back and they try to summarize everything they learned in a 10-minute staff meeting. So this is going to lead to a lot of misconceptions like PBIS is just handing out a bunch of positive tickets, or there's no consequences anymore, or it doesn't actually change behavior. So of course none of that's true. PBIS is evidence-based and it works well when it's done well, but Tier 1 alone is not enough for every student. So it's important for people to understand the PBIS pyramid or MTSS pyramid. PBIS is based on a tiered system of support. It's inspired by public health models. So imagine your school as a pyramid. Tier 1, 80 to 90% of your students are going to respond well to school-wide expectations, direct teaching, positive reinforcement, and quick, consistent behavior responses. Most students are going to succeed with these kind of supports, but some will need more. Tier 2, 10 to 15% of your students need extra support like check-in, check-out. And then you have Tier 3, 3 to 5% of your students that need highly individualized support like functional behavior assessments, behavior intervention plans, counseling, wraparound services. But here's the common pitfall, jumping straight to problem behaviors. So before jumping into Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions, schools really need to ensure that their Tier 1 is strong and effective. Otherwise, Tier 2 is going to be overrun with referrals and it's going to make it impossible to serve those students well. If your school is ready to expand Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports, here's some practical steps. First, assess your Tier 1 supports. Make sure Tier 1 is solid before adding new interventions. Next, you want to get organized. Form a Tier 2 and Tier 3 team. It might be called a coordination of services team. It should include school staff who respond to and manage challenging behavior. Next, you want to prioritize quality over quantity. Start small. Instead of trying too many interventions at once, focus on a few evidence-based strategies. So if you can only implement check-in and check-out at first, do that and expand as you build capacity. Another thing that we did in my school district was we engaged our community providers. Many mental health and behavioral support providers are willing to offer services on campus because it's going to improve accessibility for students who need more support. Next, empower student and family voices. Students and families should have a say in shaping wellness programs and your tiered supports. Their input is going to make interventions more effective and more relevant. And if you're ready to develop a doable Tier 2 and Tier 3 system in your school, check out my online course and I'll link it below. When your Tier 1 is rock solid, behavior problems decrease, and consistency and calm will increase across your campus. So the next time that someone says PBIS doesn't work, you can just agree with them, because Tier 1 alone is not enough for every student. So if your school is ready to strengthen Tier 1 and build Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports, I'm here to help. Check out my courses below to help you build a strong PBIS system in your school. And drop a comment below. What challenges have you faced in PBIS implementation? Let's talk about it.